So you write, direct, and star in South of the River. Was it quite hard to juggle all those different kind of hats?
Yeah, it was exhausting. I've got to be honest. It was absolutely exhausting, and I went for a very long time. Acting in it at the same time was actually was possibly the most challenging, because it was difficult to watch back, to have enough time to watch things back on the day, because everything was very low budget, so time was really valuable. So there were times where I couldn't even see a take until we got back, which was mad. And so yeah, that was certainly the most challenging. Acting and directing at the same time was the hardest thing. But that would have been, starring in it in the first place was partly because of budget restrictions as well.
Yeah. I mean, was that the first time that you've done all three at the same time?
No, to be honest, I've done a lot of that. It's for some reason, yeah, I'm putting myself in a lot of my own films. I always have some kind of character in there, but this one was quite a large character. I was in it for, I mean, it was one of the main characters, I guess, with Jackson. But I certainly enjoyed playing him. It was great. It's not too far away from myself anyway.
I better not say anything too bad about him then.
But of course, yeah, maybe he's just a little bit more buffoonish than me. I don't know.
Obviously, I want to go back to that actually. As an actor, do you feel sometimes that you have to create your own work in order to get some jobs, especially now in this current climate?
I think that's always the case. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm a big advocate of that, creating your own work, whatever that might be, and for actors, I think that's even more important. I think actors are better filmmakers than filmmakers are a lot of the time. They've been around it a lot more, that's and so yeah, and I think, why not? You can kind of go out and write something, make something, especially now in this current climate, and obviously with all these new kind of technological advancements, you can go out and just grab a phone and film something on it. Absolutely. I think creating something for yourself is, it's definitely the way forward for actors, no matter what point in career you're in.
Yeah, that's true. So back to the film. Actually, it's quite a serious subject matter, and it hits on the issue of throat cancer and the different kind of emotions that person goes through. Is this actually based on anyone that you know?
So not throat cancer itself, no. I mean, I knew when I was growing up, there was one of my friends who died young of cancer, and when I would go out and play music or be with friends and get drunk and get into antics and stuff, I would always think about him and kind of have that guilty kind of hard guilty feeling in the back of my mind. And a lot of that feeling is in the film, really. That kind of it's kind of a juxtaposition of something very serious, but also within life, and life is got to have a lot of humor in life, otherwise it's just not realistic.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, there's still a bit of, you've managed to keep the levity in there as well. I mean, sometimes that's quite a fine line between, having that serious subject and then having the humor to. Do you ever feel like you could have crossed the line at any point?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really worry about it actually too much when I was making it. I was relatively confident. I may be arrogant about that. Like, kind of, I thought, I never really. I mean, I was quite sensitive when it came to the research of how it works. Like when it comes to chemotherapy or radiotherapy and the whole treatment, I was quite conscious of making sure to get that right. But when it comes to adding humor to that and kind of putting it in a light-hearted light, I think I was always quite confident to make sure to have it there. Otherwise, it's it is a dark subject matter, but it is certainly a light-hearted film, and I always wanted it to be that.
Yeah. There's also, yeah, I mean, you mentioned the research as well. Did you go into like hospitals and speak to maybe cancer patients to, you know, make sure you had the authenticity of what, I've forgotten his name now. What was it? Alex.
Yeah, Aaron.
What you
Yeah,
were
no,
going through.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did. Yeah, I spoke to a couple of teenagers with cancer through Teenage Cancer Trust. I got a bit of, and obviously I had my friend who went through it, and then after that I just did my kind of standard research of the actual of how the treatment works. But so yeah, I got a couple of perspectives of how it would be for them. I tried to put myself in that, in as hard as that would be, to put myself into that kind of position, and I think I would act as kind of childish as Aaron would, you know, at that, especially at that age. I think I'd be so terrified that I would act just as childish as him. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine. I would as well, to be honest. Now, the character of Aaron, he's got this look, the cross between, I'm sure you've heard this before, of Nirvana's Kurt Cobain and Ewan McGregor's character of Kurt Wilde in Velvet Goldmine.
Oh yeah.
Was this a part of the inspiration? I love Velvet Goldmine, so it instantly
Yeah.
came to my mind. Was this part of the inspiration behind the look?
I love that. I love those. I love those comparisons. I've not had the second one. No, I've not had Velvet Goldmine. That's brilliant, though. I love that. That's but in a way, because I mean, I guess that's kind of based on Bowie in a way, and he was certainly sort of part of his personality and everything, as well as Jackson was. Well, those characters are inspired by Bowie, I guess. You know, and. Yeah, certainly had a lot of Kurt Cobain as well references. But really, I mean, when I was casting for that character initially, I had a brown-haired chap in mind. Really, I imagine him to have brown hair. If you look at my initial storyboards and everything, they're all like a brown-haired guy and everything. But then I met Alex in the casting, like while we were casting, and then we just became best friends throughout filming, pretty much. So it was, and. Yeah, and then it was kind of blonde-haired Kurt Cobain kind of character, and his voice was very different as well to what I kind of expected. It was much more raspy singing voice, which works well with kind of like Kurt Cobain type of thing. And that was a lot more. I kind of saw him as this almost Ian Dury type voice when I was first writing it, you know. But it was yeah.
Yeah. Also, as well, I think with having him, you know, having him look like Kurt Cobain, it will appeal to the audiences more because they can relate him to an actual person.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
yeah. No, that does help. Yeah, and that's someone else did that to me as well, and I think that's yeah, exactly. Someone else who died and is and the poster of the film, you know, very much looks like a a Kurt Cobain kind of film. Yeah. So definitely and I think you're right. Yeah, I think you could get that emotional connection.
Okay, there's a few scenes in the film, you know, where you're performing on stage in the band. I mean, was the singing undertaken by you guys yourselves?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we recorded it ourselves. Yeah, all the music is done by the Undefined. The put together band's the Undefined, and I wrote all the music, and Alex sung all the music. Yep, and Alex put his own spin on made it a lot better. Ziggy put in like unbelievable bass lines. I mean, honestly, these songs were so bad when I first put them on, and then these guys really brought them to life. And I was kind of like, you know, stop making them too good. You know, they're not supposed to be a good band. You know, kind of like it. But yeah, no, it wasn't. I mean, we recorded it and then played to that recording, but we did it all ourselves. Yeah, it was. They were the other two characters, Ziggy and Alice. They were both musicians, and then musicians who were acting in a film, basically.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was going to actually say about, or did you write the lyrics yourself? But you obviously just said you had. Is there is it quite different writing lyrics for a song to it is to say writing the screenplay for this?
Yes, I say so.
Which is easier?
Yeah, I think the songwriting. Because you can just go as silly as possible. You know, it's sort of like you can kind of. So yeah, I would say the songwriting was kind of the easiest. The script writing, you know, oh god, it goes through so many drafts and it goes through such a long process. But it's but both are fun. I enjoyed a hell of a lot. Yeah.
And was you ever in a band yourself?
Yeah, I was in a couple of bands, and
Not
that's
that
where I
long.
got them. Oh right. Yeah, back in the day. Well, yeah. So I've drawn some of those experiences, and always in really bad bands as well, like the Undefined. So yeah, so it was easy to draw those similarities.
Okay.
In fact, the Undefined is probably the best band I've been in. You know.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you very much for talking
Cool.
to me.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Okay.